when the universe was born. You are destined to get this video. This is the kind of fatalism that Einstein believed in. In other words, the future can be deduced. And these crazy scientists, they projected the future with a quantum computer. The old man adjusted the time coordinates in the projection. At this time, everyone appeared on the screen. This is what they will look like 1 second from the future. One of the scientists on the screen waves, and then off-screen actions are made. He was shocked by the scene in front of him. The other scientists couldn't sit still either. Such an accurate prediction is too terrifying. Everyone told the old man to turn off the system because it creates a terrifying paradox. Predicting the future will also happen on the opposite side. It's them who see the world on the screen. Or did the world on the screen see them? And the story begins with the Maya Quantum. This company has been working on quantum technology, and the most mysterious is the developer project. Dozens of columns stand outside the developer base. These pillars are made of pure gold. The main function is to form a slimming Faraday barrier. Barriers can block external signal interference. The interior of the base is supported by electromagnetic fields. The electromagnetic field keeps the test area in suspension. Upon entry, employees have to ride suspended elevators. Otherwise, the external vacuum environment will cause hypoxia. So strictly protected is a quantum computer. If you compare it to Einstein himself, then a normal computer is equivalent to a star. The gap between the two is so exaggerated. Employees who work here are not required to work overtime. They can even choose their working hours freely. There is only one requirement that is extremely strict. That is, no cell phones and storage devices are allowed. Other than that, there is no more. Restrain new employees. Sage wants to ask about his job, but the boss said he wouldn't tell Sage. He needs to understand quantum computers himself. Then he showed Sage the host code. What else does the confused Sage want to ask? But as soon as I turned around, the boss disappeared. Sage had to read the code first, and he only reads a few lines. And then you get this sense of insecurity and fear. The contents of the code gave him the chills. If this code is really running, so what is the difference between this machine and the creator? Anything in his life could be a string of numbers. The more Sage looked at the code, the more scared he became. The computer even made him feel nauseous. Unable to look directly at the code, Sage escaped the palace. He came to the bathroom. Look at yourself in the mirror. How Sage regretted seeing the code. Then lies. The truth is harder to accept. Sage finally couldn't help but vomit. I don't know how long I stayed in the toilet. Calmed down, Sage quickly adjusted his watch. There is a tiny camera hidden behind the pointer. Turns out Sage was a commercial spy. He infiltrated the company to steal the code. After returning to the workstation, Sage lined up all the codes. The female colleague next to him noticed his abnormality. My colleague came over with a glass of water to comfort Sage and tell him not to worry. You can accept it slowly, but Sage still wants to make sure. Is this code genuine rather than theory? What Sage saw was certainly not a theoretical conjecture. It's all running on this computer, and there's been some tangible results. Sage told each other, if the code is true, then this computer could change everything. However, his colleagues told him, even if he is real, it doesn't change anything. At this moment, Sage has not yet grasped the meaning of this sentence. Before getting off work, Sage secretly photographed all the codes. Since there is no detection device at the exit of the base, Sage thought he could really escape. However, he had just walked out of the Faraday barrier. The boss suddenly stood in front of him. Apparently, the other party has discovered his identity. The boss said something to him about fatalism. The universe is deterministic from the beginning. The glass beads rolled because of the thrust. People are hungry, so you eat. He told Sage, we are all trapped in the illusion of free will, people's senses, and even judgment and decision making. These are all pre-planned scripts, and Sage's behavior today included. At this point, Sage is still holding a fluke. He doesn't think his identity has been revealed. The boss brought up the famous nematode experiment. Predicting a person's future is actually like him. It just requires more complex data. Sage was shaking with fear from his boss. The other party is likely to have peeked into their future. But here's the strange thing. The boss didn't blame him. The boss seems intent on letting him go. Psyche took the opportunity to run away, but someone was waiting for him in the distance. The other party subdued Psyche in an instant and took the plastic bag out of his pocket. It seems that this kind of thing happens a lot in the company. Security is preparing to suffocate Psyche, and all this has long been expected by the boss. The female colleague during the day happened to pass by after getting off work, looking at Psyche, who is still struggling to the death. The women showed no mercy, just like he said during the day. Even knowing the future doesn't change anything. It's all doomed scripts. But is this really the case? Late at night, girlfriend has been unable to contact Psyche. He began to worry about the other party. Yes, I caught Psyche's colleague again. Lily feels something must have happened to Psyche. Usually, she is the first person to get off work. Colleagues let her relax. Developer based by Faraday barrier. She can get through to Psyche. It is normal for programmers to work overtime until the early morning. Wait until the next day. Lily finds her boyfriend still hasn't come home. He rushed to report to the company's security department. Little did he know that this man was the murderer of Sage. Security pulled up all of Sage's surveillance yesterday. Then a strange scene happened. Sage in the video leaves the base at 9 o'clock. Surveillance captured his movements throughout the night. After 10 o'clock, Sage walks up the highway on foot. That is to say, Sage left the park alive. After that, it is beyond the scope of the company's monitoring. At this time, the boss also came to the security department. He also just heard about Psyche's mysterious disappearance. The two murderers seem to have their memories erased. I forgot everything that happened last night. The boss ordered the police to find someone quickly, and also mobilize the company's resources to find Psyche. And the content of the monitoring is also difficult to explain. Obviously, Psyche was killed by them last night. What the hell is going on here? The police also quickly arrived at the company to investigate. Intuition tells Lily it's not that simple. The way Sage walks in the surveillance is very strange. He seems to be looking for something. The boss decided to give Lily a holiday. Sage's affairs are all handed over to the company. Lily, who returned home, shouted, but the empty room didn't respond. Lily suddenly remembered something. I am a scientist after all. Wouldn't it be easy to investigate your boyfriend's whereabouts? He quickly found a spare cell phone and restored it to factory settings. The mobile phone has a cloud account to synchronize data. Lily successfully logged into her boyfriend's account. The next step is to synchronize the boyfriend's data. Just look at the communication records to find clues. After waiting for a long time, the data is finally synchronized. Lily checked all the software in the phone. He found a curious application. Sage obviously hates Sudoku, but I downloaded a Sudoku game on my phone. And after this software is open, a password is required. Even he doesn't know the password. As long as you type wrong 3 times, the software will be erased. The other side. What are the bosses and subordinates thinking about at the gates of the base? It turned out that the female colleague was the director of the project. The two then chatted about fatalism, if the world was really arranged in advance. So what about the quantum world? Why observe so many different results? The next day, Lily received amazing news. The company has founded Sage. I saw my boyfriend holding a barrel of gasoline in the surveillance. Then he drenched the gasoline all over his body. The boss told him. Psyche disappeared a day later. I don't know why I went back to the company square last night. Then a scene from the surveillance happened. Psyche sets herself on fire with gasoline. Lily couldn't believe what she saw. How could my boyfriend set himself on fire? He rushed to the crime scene to check. Sure enough, I saw the charred body there. Psyche's death is too bizarre. It's definitely not that simple. He remembered the number reading software in his phone. There may well be some secrets buried here. So Lily found her ex-boyfriend. The other party is an encryption software genius. It was a piece of cake for him to crack the app. After some operations by Beard Orchid, and what he realized was this was not a Sudoku game. It's an encrypted messaging software. This software has been conducting conversations in Kazakh. The server receiving the information is located in Russia, which means Sage is a spy. Only then did Lily learn her boyfriend's true identity. It turns out that the other party has been using himself to pretend to be a bearded man. Don't want to get involved in a feud between governments. He copied down a few poisonous codes and told Lily to leave. Go home. He checked the chat content of the software. The content shows that Psyche still has a connector, but the conversation broke down when Psyche entered the developer. Lily pretended that Psyche replied to the message from the connector, but the other party already knew his identity. The connector wants to meet at the Golden Gate Bridge tomorrow morning to solve the mystery of her boyfriend's suicide. Lily plucked up the courage to agree to the meeting request. And then the software erases itself. Obviously, the other party can destroy the software in advance. Why do you have to wait for Lily to contact you before self-destructing? Simple Lily made an appointment with the connector like this. The contact told him about Sage's background. Sage joined the intelligence service while at Moscow University. His mission is to infiltrate the developer project. They guess Amaya has developed an incredible machine. If the machine falls into the US government, it's going to be the end. He wanted to turn Lily against him and take Sage's job. However, Lily is not interested in this kind of thing. He just wants to know the truth about his boyfriend's death. Street people say there is no suicide in their business, although Lily saw the surveillance footage with her own eyes. But the video can also be tampered with at will. Apparently, the developer's boss killed Psyche. This is the truth about Psyche's death. The connector didn't embarrass Lily. He let Lily go on living like this. You can join them if you want revenge. Just move the chair out of the window. Then he'll naturally get in touch with Lily. Although the location chosen by the connector is uninhabited, but the developers already knew everything. The security guard who killed Sage is hiding and listening. You thought it was over? The capabilities of quantum computers go beyond that. At this point, the developers have achieved another result. He can not only calculate the future, you can even calculate what happened in the past. The Mars scene was played out 2,000 years ago, and it's projected in front of the crowd. Even the burial chamber standing below is no exception, although they can project historical pictures. But the project director thought the projection was too blurry. They need to calculate a clearer projection, and it's a little blurry, but this has had a disruptive impact. The US government quickly took notice of the company. They sent a senator to negotiate. The senator wants to take over Amaya in the name of the government, but the company boss directly rejected the other party because the boss has already seen this history. Today's conversation is within his grasp. The senator asked Amaya what she was working on. The boss was blunt about the secret, but what he didn't expect was the senator actually thinks Amaya is forecasting stocks. By the way, I also asked about the weather tomorrow. It seems that his mind is also stuck on making money. The senator hasn't realized the seriousness of the problem. At this moment, the developer team is peeking into history. A historical figure is projected on the screen. His indecent images were viewed like this. Director Katie quickly called off this behavior. He warned the team that they must follow the rules. The first is not being able to see the future of humanity. Second, don't peek into the privacy of historical figures. It's funny to say it. The old man couldn't help but mock. The director is actually not just targeting Amaya in the United States. Even Russia wants to know about this machine, no matter how many spies they send. But it gets killed by the developers every time. The spy boss vaguely guessed something. However, it was already too late. Today in history is the day of his death. The developers have their eyes on him. The security guard did not kill the other party immediately. He wants to persuade the spy boss to drop the investigation. And the contact person's practice is very inhumane. After the death of the spy he sent, he actually wants to turn against the rest of Amaya's employees. Simple Lily shouldn't have been involved. However, the other party did not listen at all. So the two got into a fight in the parking lot. In the end, the street people were killed by the security limit. It's impossible for Lily to betray the company. In predicting the future, she declined the invitation. Her main concern now is her boyfriend. Sage's abandoned self-immolation. Keep Lily from going to work. She told her superiors about it, and the spy conspiracy was also said. The leader is stupid after listening to it. She wondered if Lily was paranoid. The best friend pulled the leader aside. She told the leader that Lily had suffered from schizophrenia. He even went to the hospital for it. The leader also sympathized with Lily after listening to it. After all, their boyfriend just passed away. After the leader leaves, what did the two discuss again? It turns out that what happened just now was planned by them. Lily wants to spread her own rumors in the company. Then the two went to the security department. Lily told me about the spy again. In fact, and Bao knows very well in his heart, at least Sage's death had something to do with him. The more Lily talked, the more emotional she became. No one wants to believe him. So sad Lily slammed the door and ran out. At this time, the boss of the company is taking the senator on patrol. He traded campaign funds for corporate projects, so the senator was bought. The boss suddenly saw Lee in the distance. Lily actually chose to complain by jumping off the building. The boss quickly called the security room. After being reminded by the boss, only then did the security find Lily, who wanted to commit suicide. He hurried over to comfort the other party. Although it proves that security is a developer's killer, but this person is not inherently bad. And the girlfriends in the house have already taken action. She plugged the prepared memories into the computer. The melon eaters outside are still paying attention. attention to Lily. A quantum computer once predicted her future. Today is definitely not the day of Lily's death. After being persuaded by security, Lily finally gave up the idea of suicide. The bitterness that the two staged exceeded expectations. Lily and her girlfriend should cooperate internally and externally. Deceived everyone. Girlfriend copied surveillance footage from the security room so they can find out how Sage died. Of course, the technical work must be handed over to the bearded man. The bearded man removed the network interface card before watching the video because the USB stick that copied the video was made by the company. Only by removing the network interface card can personal privacy be guaranteed. Sure enough, the bearded man discovered an anomaly in the video. Lily's boyfriend set himself on fire after lighting up gasoline. The subsequent flames are clearly problematic. There are several similarities in the flames. In other words, this video is made by special effects. But Lily was there to identify the body, and the medical examiner also identified her as Psyche. Then there is only one possibility. It was that Psyche was disguised as a suicide after her death. But what if you knew the truth? Lily is just an ordinary person, right? And the other side. The boss is peeking into the future again. This future is about Lily's life and death. Quantum computer predicts he will die in 48 hours, and he died in the developer base. Future bosses who know too much are afraid. What I'm going to talk about next is very mind-blowing. Everyone must stay focused. He told Katie, suppose they predict the future in 1 minute. Katie will cross her arms in a minute. But Katie has seen this future, and a minute later, he refused to do it. So he changed history. At this point, the boss has begun to waver from fatalism. Katie saw this and quickly stabilized the military's heart. He told the boss, the eagle is in front of the fruit. Fruit leads to eagle. There will be no change in the future. As if the past had become reality, the boss who firmly believed in the physical universe began to falter. And this genius teenager will overturn the theory of cause and effect. Lyndon makes a new discovery in the quantum world. Quantum computers can now compute to subatomic levels, so they can predict from the quantum world. They've been using causality, Bohm's theory in quantum mechanics. The microscopic particles in this theory, there can be definite movements, and they used it to calculate a definite future. But the calculated projections of the future are very hazy, and their quantum computer has a binary opposition. To speak human words is to follow the laws of causality completely, and that causes the predicted audio to be noisy. So Lyndon gave up Bohm's theory. He took Copenhagen's many worlds interpretation. Finally, a quantum computer can calculate clear audio. Of course, he hasn't started to calculate the image yet. He guessed that the picture was also clear using this theory of calculation. Lyndon's genius act directly awakened everyone. It is certain because everything is possible. Speaking human words is a parallel universe. Lyndon's calculation made the boss very angry. He believes that using this theory to predict the future, even if it is predicted, not us either, cosmic, but Lin Zhang thinks it doesn't matter, because the gaps between each universe are tiny. Maybe it's just a few less hairs. They can refer to things from another universe, so you can know the future of your universe. But the boss thinks the difference is the difference. The future calculated in this way has no reference value at all, because the many worlds theory generates infinite variables. The boss fired him directly in front of everyone. The fatalism that the team firmly believes in is not allowed to be shaken by anyone. However, after all the employees leave, director Katie used the spirit lamp method. She projects a piece of history. Let the boss watch. Blurred little girl. The picture gradually starts to clear. She is the boss's daughter who died unexpectedly. The boss researches quantum computers all for her. This also explains why the boss insists on fatalism, because what she wants is her real daughter, and the projection is another universe. At the same time, the company's security also responded. He brought the police to the door to arrest Lily and accused him of stealing corporate incentives. After the police arrested Lily, he targeted the bearded man again. Security knows it's all the work of bearded men. In order to give the bearded man a long memory, the security guard broke his finger directly. It's all seen by director Katie. In fact, he already knew what was going to happen. Maybe peeking into the future of the bearded man wasn't fun enough. Then he looked at himself in another universe. What will happen in this universe? This is a debate about the double-slit intervention experiment. A beam of light shines into two slits in the barrier, and it turns out that photons behave like waves. The photon leaves multiple streaks as it passes through the slit. According to wave theory, they deduced an explanation. Photons can be released in some forms and on their own. Life interactive. In order to be able to observe the entire motion of photons in the experiment, Scientists installed detectors next to the double slit. Then a strange scene happened. Photons lose their wave properties. He left two streaks across the screen as particles. That is to say, the act of observation changes the outcome. And then various schools of thought came up with explanations. Among them is the von Neumann-Wegener collapse model. He believes that human consciousness caused the collapse, and Katie was very upset. He yelled at the professor. Katie thinks it's dualistic crap. He preferred the Everett interpretation. The professor did not refute Katie's doubts. He explained the Everett interpretation to his classmates. The theory holds that the superposition of particles has not changed. It's that the universe is ripped apart by the observer. At the moment of observation, the universe split into two universes with two different outcomes. We live in a two-striped universe. This theory implies that the universe is constantly fragmented. In our lives, all possible events will occur. Let me give you a simple example. Katie leaves the teaching door after listening to the speech. The moment he leaves the house, there are infinite variables. Katie might be checking the time on her phone. It is also possible to check your backpack. No matter what happens to Katie after she goes out, every possible event will be split. Each Katie generates a new universe. Of course, the cosmic Katie is not going away. He will go on with his life. One of the scholars I just heard stopped Katie. Fred appreciated what he just said. He heard about Katie's family situation from school. Katie's parents can no longer support high school. Fred then made a suggestion to support Katie through college, but he has to join the developers. The developers are a team created by Fred. The team is working on quantum computers. He wants to simulate a universe with a quantum computer. Katie with a super IQ must have a way. Sure enough, Katie joined the theory into reality. The method he used was simple and crude. The experimenter placed a rat carcass on the scanner. Quantum computers can perform calculations at the subatomic level. The simulated results can be used as a basic deduction. Based on the carcass of this mouse, quantum computer starts to work backwards. And this is what happens. The world around us is calculated. Even everyone present was counted. In theory, as long as the computer can keep calculating, then he can simulate the whole world. It's like the Big Bang backwards. You can use the existing world to calculate the past. So here's a new problem. Operations that simulate the world will also happen on the opposite side. It's Katie. They figured out the opposite universe. Or did the opposite universe calculate Katie's world? The reason why Fred wanted to simulate a universe. It's because of a tragedy that happened a few years ago. He was waiting for his wife and children to come home from work that day. The car my wife is driving is about to arrive. But the next second, and then tragedy struck. A car rushed over from the side, knocked his wife away. Fred froze in place. Obviously, I was still talking to my wife for a second. Why did this happen to me? According to Everett's many worlds theory, what just happened has created countless variables. In another universe, his wife and children are safe. Fred got the baby as he wished. However, sadly, the universe he is in now had an accident. The daughter and wife died instantly. The car accident became an unchangeable fact. So Fred started working on quantum technology. There was also a later developer team. After getting the bearded man, security returns to Amaya. He told Fred and Katie. Now Lily is already investigating the company. If he finds out that he killed someone, that's enough to keep him in prison for the rest of his life. He wanted to kill Lily to avoid future trouble, but Katie confidently told the security. He saw the future. You couldn't have killed Lee at all. Security has not yet understood the meaning of this sentence, as the crime against Lily is still under investigation. Plus, he said before that he has a history of illness. The police had no choice but to place Lily in the hospital first. This also gave the bearded man a chance to save him. The bearded man was not afraid after being threatened by security. Instead, she saved Lily despite the danger. Afterwards, Husainen suggested exposing Amaya Company, but Lily is well aware of Amaya's power. They are ordinary people. Impossible to be funny. Why don't you talk to your boss yourself? So they went to Fred's house. The moment you knock on the door, Fred opened the door early to greet him. He had already seen this future. Lily asks if her boyfriend's death has anything to do with it. Katie, who is on the side, quickly came out to relieve the siege. He offered to answer Lily's question himself. After the bearded man and the others left, Heidi told Sage how he died. He was killed for stealing code. The person who did it was the security guard. In fact, these Lilies have long known. It's better to ask something you don't know. And she asked the ultimate question. What exactly is a developer? Katie smiled slightly after hearing this, as if it was all within her grasp. So Katie asks the world for no reason. Is it a living thing? Lily must believe that the world is random. She gave some simple examples. For example, being struck by lightning on a rainy day is a random event, and leukemia in kids is random. Obviously, this is not the answer Katie wants. Leukemia is caused by a genetic mutation. Lightning is caused by electrostatic discharge. Lily mentioned flipping a coin again. The result of a coin toss is a truly random event. But is that really the case? Katie told her, a coin flip is a compound event. The result of flipping a coin is related to temperature and humidity. No matter how many examples Lily offers, Katie can solve it perfectly with physics. She told Lily, no random events at all. Katie pushed the ballpoint pen on the table towards him. Suppose we had a computer. They put data in as the pen rolled across the table. And that data includes the speed of the roll, and the mass and atomic structure of a ballpoint pen. So the computer can calculate how hard to push the pen. When will this ballpoint pen stop? In other words, you can calculate the past and future of the pen. Now bring in everything in the world. This is what the developer project is all about. They peeked into the future, but it is found that more than a certain fixed time, the computer doesn't count anymore. It doesn't matter how they tune it. And now there are only 21 hours left until that moment. In other words, something unknown will happen tomorrow night. This event would cause the causal rate of the universe to collapse. Either the universe will end in 21 hours. There are only two possibilities. Katie thinks the incident has something to do with Lily. Lily will be at the developer base in 21 hours. Then she will die in that place. The future after that is no longer counted. Lily said after listening that she would not go to the meeting. How could she choose to stay at home tomorrow night? But Katie believes that the future cannot be changed. It's all doomed. Lily thinks they rate all crazy. How could a computer possibly calculate her choice? Don't humans have free will? Lily confidently says she wanted to go to the developer base, and he walked out. Judging by Katie's calm reaction, he knows every detail of this conversation inside out. Just as Lily and the bearded man were leaving, security guards in the distance have their eyes on the two. Security believes that Lily and the boss have reached a settlement. Maybe you'll take the blame for the murder. So the security decided to eliminate the hidden danger of Lily. Wait until the second day. Fred and Katie said their final goodbyes. Because the universe is likely to end today, he told Katie, who is going out. Don't forget today's conversation with Lyndon. What I'm going to talk about is very complicated. Everyone must watch carefully. Katie asked Lyndon to come to a dam. Lyndon knew that Katie had peeked into the future. So Lyndon asked what would happen in a moment. Katie, tell him you'll be over the fence in a few minutes. Then let go of the hand grasping the guardrail. Open your arms. Lyndon wondered why he did it. Katie told him it was because of the multi-world faith. Since you are so convinced of the existence of the multiverse, now standing on the fence has the consequences. Or fall and die. Either keep your balance and survive. That is to say, he falls off in some universes, but will survive in another universe. Lyndon will remain conscious in the universe that survives. So here's the problem. Will Lyndon fall off in this universe? Katie has seen the future with a quantum computer. Didn't he answer that question in the future? Because if Katie tells him the results, then it proves that the universe is deterministic. This would obliterate Lyndon's belief in many worlds. So he gathered his courage to step over the guardrail. And then he opens his arms. Now he's like Schrodinger's cat. And Katie is the observer. I'm here to remind you not to imitate. Lyndon has seen countless images of the fall. However, unfortunately, he didn't survive in any universe. The end result is falling and dying. Katie has also been seen leaving countless times. The other side. And Bao sneaked to Lily's house. She opened the door and found the bearded man. Then he shot the opponent directly. Lily dodged a bullet in the bedroom. Amber didn't find Lily when he entered the house. She saw a note written on the window. The classic greeting is written on the note. Amber thought Lily had escaped through the window, so he let down his guard. However, just then, Lily, who was hiding by the side, suddenly rushed out. He took the lamp and smashed it at the opponent. But Amber is a retired agent after all. Weak Lily is definitely not his match. Soon Lily was pressed to the bed. Critical moment. A stranger rescued Lily. He strangled Amber alive with a data cable. This is Sage's accomplice. His main task is to assist Sage. Since Sage died, I started spying on Lily. He told Lily that if she still wanted to stay in America, then Dante call the police. Don't go to the Federal Bureau, but tell the CIA about it. But he could be under investigation for years. Another option is to leave the United States. Travel to a country without an extradition treaty. Apparently, Lily chose revenge. The bearded man can't just die in vain. He walked into the developer base with a pistol. Like Katie said, it all seemed destined. The old man at the door has also seen the future tonight. He persuaded Lily to leave now, and then he turned around. I did say this in the future. Maybe even this idea is part of the future. So the old man stopped persuading Lily. He used his authority to open the door for Lily, and Fred was already waiting for him. At this moment, Lily has begun to doubt life, because he simply can't make a choice. He can only follow the script of the future. You don't even choose what you say. Isn't that the case with Fred? He had seen this dialogue a few days earlier. I also know how I will answer. This is not a consciously repeated line. When these words came out of his mouth, it's all what he wants to say at this moment. Lily sees Amaya on the screen. That's Fred's daughter. Fred thinks fatalism is very cruel. It all comes down to a very small piece of information. The state of each particle are related to the state of the particles around them. That is to say, as long as you understand a particle, you can know the states and laws of how things work. Fred told Lily it was time to draw her gun. Amber's gun that killed the bearded man is in your pocket. Then Lily made this action. This made Lily instantly feel afraid. Why don't you tell him all about it? So Fred projected the future on the screen. In the future, Lily threatened Fred with a gun. He told Katie to open the hovering elevator door, and Katie did. Then the two walked into the elevator and confronted each other. Lily is going to take him to where Sage died. Fred told Lily, dead people can be resurrected in the system. They can pull on the progress bar at will. Maybe that's what angered Lee. Lily shot Fred directly. The bullet penetrated the head and hit the glass. We said before, the laboratory is a vacuum environment. The elevator fell and was exposed. Lily slowly died of hypoxia. This is what the future will be all about. Lily was shocked by this projection, even though she knows the future now. But still can't stop the incident. Sure enough, after a few minutes, and what happens in the projection starts to play out. Lily raised a gun and forced Fred to come out. Katie opened the elevator for Lily again. This feeling almost broke Katie. Maybe they shouldn't have developed this machine at all. However, just then, Lily, who was supposed to have a gun, suddenly threw her away. This scene stunned Fred directly, because Lily's actions changed history. She made a choice according to her own ideas. But can he really change the outcome? Maybe there's a correction in the world. The old man outside the door suddenly pressed the emergency button. Then the red light in the lab started flashing. He shut down the elevator's magnetic field system. That makes the elevator go straight down. The outcome of the two deaths remains unchanged. Katie upstairs quickly confronted the old man. Now that Lily has changed the future, why did the elevator fall down again? The old man told her, the future must be certain. Then she turned and left the scene. In another universe, the plot starts at the beginning. Lily still woke up from the familiar home. She still works at Amaya. It's just that this Lily has changed a little bit. He discovered Sage's espionage. The two quarreled and broke up over this matter. In this universe, Fred's wife and children were not involved in a car accident. The family is playing behind the company, and everything in this universe, it's just a string of numbers. He's Katie's world simulated through a quantum system.